I was gonna go for like Balthazar or Archibald, you know, like an old dragon. No, you're not.
Isn't Archibald like a new Pokemon? And it is a dragon. It's like a dragon electric.
I don't. The Archibald with a B. I don't think it was that bad.
are the same. We're in Korea, okay?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Atlas.
No, I just really liked the Falcor one. And also, if you haven't seen The Never-Ending Story, my God, I love that film. Oh, it's just fantastic. Okay, Lee Sin and the Callista both banned away here as Humble Life Esports do take the blue side once again. And we'll just have to see. Next ban is probably going to be Ascana on the T1 side of things, but there is a Corky ban from Humble Life Esports. What are they angling for? I'm expecting something like a Varus first pick to be the aim for Humble Life. But we'll see where they actually do land, because there are so many things now that are just unavailable. So with Yone banned away, maybe T1 are going to take their chances on a Peanut Skarner, but I don't know about that one. I feel like that is something that Peanut would be able to have a big impact on. So I expect that one to be the last ban. Galio going to be taken away here. Neither of these mid laners allowed to play that champion, even though the Rumble is now banned away based on Fearless. It is something that can be flexed, as there goes the Skarner. Something
good.
That, yeah, like we were saying, probably don't want to give that to Peanut.
Are we going to blind pick a top laner, which has been the heavy prio thus far? Because to me, I know how strong Varus is, and Viper's Varus is incredible. But it still, to me, really does feel like one of those champions where you can't really build compositions around making him completely useless.
Yeah.
Not going to happen, though. You know,
I do think that, like
I've been Nocturne or Jarvan compositions where he just is going to get dove and die.
I mean,
that's not...
You can still play the lethality or the on-hit, so you have a bit of flexibility, I guess.
Even then, right? There are champions that will just be able to get on top of him, but that's not what T1 does. T1 instead opts into the MF as well as the Sejuani. I'm wondering whether they want to try and force a early pickup of the Braum. Otherwise, T1, I think, is going to very happily pick that one up, as it will allow you to both take it away. Varus Braum obviously is quite a strong lane.
Oh, that's Silas.
Yeah, which we're going to guess is going to go to Zeka, but we're not 100% sure yet. We're going to kind of keep up in the air where everything is going. Most likely, though, that should be going to Zeka, because he has had a number of good Silas plays.
He is relatively good at the champion. Zeus is also relatively good at this champion.
Yeah, his debut game was on NAR. It was very, very good. And I think he is still one of the best NAR players that we have. We have a lot of them that love this champion. Now, what is the setup, or the pick radar going to be here from T1? Interesting is that I do think that jungle pulls and AD carry pulls are the easiest to pinch when it comes to we're getting deeper into Fearless in terms of how much you can ban away and what you're kind of left with.
Faker's Akali. Is that what they're going to look at? Instead, it's Mel. So this is the first Mel that we're going to get here for the LCK Cup. And we'll see where it's going to go. Theoretically, it's Faker that is going to be playing it this time around, but has been flexed. I saw it in the LoL Pacific tournament. Played in the bottom lane by the Chiefs. Didn't win. The Chiefs haven't been going so well over there. We'll see how Faker's going to do on this champion, unless Keria is going to play it in support somehow.
Would be a very Keria thing to do.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Basically, all you need is a W to be useful, and you do have that if you're a support.
Very true. That, you know, is on a good call. But again, it's Keria. If he wants to play it like an early lane bully, it wouldn't surprise me. The man loves his ranged bot laners. And MF, one of the biggest strengths that she does have is that she is an early lane bully. I'm pretty sure it was also the Smash game where he got like, what, a double very early on MF, and then the game was kind of over. And
yeah, and we didn't even like the draft, but it didn't actually matter what we liked or didn't like. He just kind of ran it over.
Now, when it comes to support, we're also really pinching the pool for engaged supports. Nautilus taken away, Rel taken away, Poppy taken away, Alistair.
Whoa, with this
Leona as well.
Is he gonna do it?
Into
NAR was the original good matchup.
I know, but this is...
oh, he's locking it in!
So...
okay!
I have seen Doran have these moments before.
Yeah.
You're feeling it
was
as well,
normally
right?
against T1, though.
Yeah, no,
not with T1.
But I know, like, this is... I've seen this a million times. Like, I can do the carry matchup. And he is a Sejuani as well. I'm I'm still skeptical, though. We'll have to see what ends up transpiring here. The Nocturne, we mentioned him earlier, I think is just always a very solid pick. Is it going to be Peanut? I've seen that's the smile he has when he locked in Shyvana those few games.
True.
Little scary. Could theoretically still be a flex, but I do think most likely that it's going to go the way of Peanut. And then do we like Renata here? I'm like double checking. Like Renata's open, right? That doesn't feel too bad. Deals well. It's not a Delight champion, I think, is the main issue. Is Rakan is still open as well, which is bad for lane. This would mean it's Sylas support.
Pantheon support.
Unless, oh, it's, yeah, never mind. Pantheon support with the Varus. And then Pantheon is decent setup.
Yeah, we've seen the Nidalee Pantheon work and fall flat on its face. Like, this is all for, like, the early setup so that you can, like, really bully.
So this Keria just...
Well, that's a
so
LeBlanc.
it is. So that would mean that it's Mel support.
Or
Faker is
he's
playing
played
LeBlanc
support as well.
Yeah, it could also be that.
But it's probably the LeBlanc.
There's too many layers, Atlas. I'm getting dizzy.
I know. The smell of onion is thick in the air. However, we do have Faker taking one of his most iconic champions.
Cooking?
No, the layers.
Oh my God. Well, it works on 2 levels.
I know.
There's layers even to the joke.
Exactly. That's why they pay us the big bucks, you know? LeBlanc is going to go to Faker, who's, of course, one of his most famous champions. And the biggest question mark isn't even the Mel support. It's the Aurelia in the top lane for Doran. And I am really looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go. Because if you play it well, you cannot play the game if you're the Gnar.
Ah, okay. So we do have...
Okay, never mind. Last minute swap.
Does mean Faker's playing a new champion.
True.
Even though it's not the LCK, I'm still...
Is that 80?
I don't know, man. But it still counts. You know, it's still him playing a new champion.
Yep.
And
now Brains. I think it's above 80
narratively,
now.
there could be no greater triumph than being subbed out for Zeus, right? Like Zeus taking your spot, and then you beat him in a carry matchup. That'll hit. But the alternative is that it's the classic Doran where he goes for the counter matchup after having a great performance thus far in the series, and then kind of gets boomed. Although I guess the Ambessa game was a bit rough, but that Rumble game, we'll see what kind of game we're gonna get from here.
I tell you what, I'm just excited to see how this Mel is going to do in the LCK Cup. First time we've seen her here in Korea in our Tier 1 league. So let's see how she goes in the hands of the GOAT. All right, feels to me like the Tier 1 fans are getting louder and louder the further we get into this series, as already some stuff is happening. Overwhelms are getting triggered here by Faker. And Keria is, he's playing his rookie skin as well, which is a whole lot of fun. The IG skin line is still just so incredibly good. And he is representing that one.
It's probably just the best skin line ever. I feel like every single one of those is just...
Yeah, they're so good.
Incredible.
Jisun is saying no, but I think that she's slightly biased towards a couple of other skin lines.
I wonder which one she'd be
I wonder which ones,
to.
It's interesting. I think there's a certain Vayne skin that she quite likes, and a Callista skin that she's relatively
okay, the Callista one.
I mean, that one's dope.
That one
is actually very
fire.
True. Very true. And the Jhin as well, which isn't too bad. I was trying to figure out the third one. I'm like, there's just too many, man. All right, Zeus is now taking a lot of damage. And is just going to get pulled back. Some groans from the crowd as well. It feels like we have audience participation. Lolpark is bursting right now. There is just as many butts in seats as possible. And so here we have just a little bit of a duo lane scenario. And I think this works for HLE because dodging this Aurelia is pretty important.
I can't league in 2025. We're just 2v2 laning mid, and it's just like, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Both top laners trying to soak experience here do know that it's T1 that actually are the ones that set up the initial swap and are the ones that rotate towards the top side of the map. This LeBlanc support, you know, Keria, his Pyke was extremely lackluster, unfortunately, in this series. His Poppy was great. It really is one of those scenarios where either it can look really good and we're like, man, classic Keria, picks a lane bully, you know, does the ranged support thing, has a big impact, or you're
Chain's going to connect, but Doran is moving in. Keria is also here. Flawless duet is landed, and it's named well as first blood goes to Faker.
Zeka is gonna regret taking that chain. That is a big deal. That is an early kill for Faker.
Wait, do Sylas players ever regret taking chains? I think in order to play Sylas, you need to always throw the chain, and I don't think you ever regret if it hits.
No, I definitely think you do in this scenario.
Huh.
I don't think that's how when you're really laning physical, because now Faker already picks up an early kill. Is going to be sitting on a tier as well, so he's going to have a great time trying to bully out. We will have Keria, what I assume is just going to try and maybe get a little bit of this experience. So what has actually been happening is that even with that kill being picked up, no one on T1 has been able to get towards this bottom half of the map. And yes, Keria was able to help secure that kill onto Zeka, but we might just have a scenario where like both teams are just 100% trading. And let me tell you, the team with Varus and Gnar is going to get very quickly through that turret.
Yes.
As we do have a little bit of vision taken away.
Does do relatively well as Faker. He did not want to press rebuttal on that button, and he's going to send himself to the death chamber. Freak told us about this. You do not press W on bandage sauce, and that's exactly what Duct Abscond actually kind of is in the end.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
He should have listened to Mr. Tally.
He tried to warn him.
He tried to warn us. We're going to have a look at it again.
So take a look here as Faker does get hit, but really nicely set up trap here by Doran and Keria. They're at the ready. Faker at no risk of going down. But this is, it's not just as Leona is another one. Don't try to W a Leona.
No.
It will not end well. It will end with you basically turning Leona into a better Blitzcrank.
Do you know what would be really, really cool? Is if you could W Delight's ultimate and just send Delight the other direction. He just ults back to where he went from.
Yeah, that would actually be really good.
Oh, it'd be so good. I don't think that, I mean,
I know.
I don't think, it just definitely doesn't work like that, but...
You just don't take the damage, yeah.
Oh, it would be so good, though.
It would be.
Maybe we could talk to Mr. Turley about it.
And
we just gave him we just gave him credit for this. So maybe he thinks it's an IOU. So he can convince the team to add that into the game.
One of the things with Mel is that particularly I think after because she was super strong initially, is that I think her laning phase feels really good. I think she feels very impressive there because her poke lands I think very consistently, particularly if you're playing a melee character like Zeka is. Even given that I think Zeka generally is great at navigating these matchups, does not actually have result 3 seconds. Electrocute is a no-brainer with how strong that rune is at the moment, but end up going for precision instead, so doesn't have access to second wind, which we often see to try and navigate these types of matchups. But giving early kills over is always going to be rough.
Won't have his chain as Oner moves in, doesn't find the Arctic Assault, and the chain lash is going to connect as the cavalry arrives. Now Doran realizing the tough part about fighting into this Gnar, and that is walking away from him.
Yeah, you can always feel really good about trades with Gnar, and then when the trade is actually over, as opposed to when you think it is, you generally feel a lot worse.
Yep.
With the Hyper Procs, and we do have Peanut, which we haven't even talked about yet, the fact that Peanut's playing Nidalee again. I think that he's had equal amounts of great performances and very lackluster ones.
More recently, I think that his Nidalee has been fine.
It's been good recently, yeah.
That's all right. Doran not going to be getting out of this one, I don't think, as the flash does go through, but can they actually get the response kill? The Mega Gnar comes in at perfect timing, and Zeus just walks it off. Primal Surge going to keep him back up as well. Peanut has actually been one of the best Nidalees at healing his targets exactly when they need to be. That has sort of been his thing. Canyons is early pathing. And the team fighting from Peanut. Great. Let's have a look at it again.
This is so rough because this is clearly being set up as a trap, right?
Yeah.
As Oner actually, maybe he didn't want to give a spot away. I think he backed for a lot longer than I thought was going to be the case there. Maybe he thought that Doran was going to die immediately. Regardless, try to set up a trap. Instead, give over a kill to Zeus on his Gnar, which again, one of his most iconic picks, something that he generally does excel on. And Irelia's value does really come from being able to bully this lane and being a consistent side lane threat throughout the entirety of the game if you take that away, the champion offers very little. The only other thing you could argue is that she is good at stacking Oner's passive, which is valid, but that's not enough by itself. There's a lot of champions that do that, but offer a lot more value. Now, this one kill alone not going to be enough, and we do also see Oner pay some attention towards that bot side of the map.
This is another problem as well, is that Smash doesn't have sort of the 1v1 advantage that he had in the last game.
Yeah.
And Viper is on sort of the big ticket pick in this bottom lane. MF has been certainly up and down. Smash has been one of our better MF players by a decent margin as well. However, in this matchup, it might be a little bit more difficult.
There is also the question of what exactly does the LeBlanc support do?
Well, I think you're supposed to do a lot of being frustrating in lane if my solo queue experience has anything to say about it.
Yeah, and you roam around, you pick up kills.
You do chains onto the enemy Varus, and then possibly kill him, and then your MF has to cleanse and run away.
Yeah, Viper still has both songs.
Pressing R into the R is pretty good for the Varus in this matchup.
And Viper, not too phased by that whole sequence of events. Smash will be able to pick up the wave, but yeah,
When do you think the Dragon's going to be taken?
Oh, a lot earlier, surely this time around.
Man, Falco was so cool, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
I'm really glad that we got the full time lapse.
Oh, I'm glad that not only did we pay attention to it, but then, as they often do, like the desk really gave us the in-depth analysis that we were.
And that's precisely what we needed.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. All right, Doran is not really being allowed towards the lane now, but he's still doing absolutely fine in this matchup. Building as fast as he can towards item number 1, but things might get a little bit more rough. Keria is going to turn up, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough here when the Bruise brothers come down. Delight and Peanut just wanting to push Doran out of here. Viper's now going to turn up as well. And can Doran survive? The answer is no, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to be more optimistic, but just the answer was no. We've got a potential teleport, as we see Jonas Strong alluding to. Zeka is going to be picking up the wave, however, and Zeus not going to jump in on that one. Just going to be grabbing that turret and moving on with their lives.
Yeah, this is what it means to have been in the LCK for a long time. Again, I've seen this so many times, with Doran specifically, where like he has an amazing game, and then the counter pick comes in and you're just like, I don't know about that one.
Well, Faker not going to be able to send that one back, but does avoid the Chains of Corruption, and the Piercing Arrow goes wide as well. Still Zeus hunting after Oner. The Naba not in a great spot, and that is a gorgeous bullet time. Still Delight gives it the door, and that is going to mitigate so much of the damage. Peanut grabs the first kill, but the immediate answer is going to be there. Stun comes through. Peanut might survive, but it's Delight that pays for his sins. And HLE backing away a little bit worse for wear.
Good trade, found there by T1. Did have to invest the teleport to come through here from Doran, but I think you'll still take that. The problem, though, is that the objective is still not looking too hot for them. As Doran,
oh dear,
is going to get spotted. That'll be the end of that. But yeah, the grubs are still going to go to Humble Life. So they give up a kill, but they get the grubs. So I don't think they're going to be too upset about that. Sandals have already been taken care of with the bot lane turret falling. As we take another look here, good sidesteps from Faker. That part is fine, and then Zeus, as we have seen many times on the Gnar, is like, okay, we got an angle here. But crucially, really good ultimate there from both Smash and Oner, completely stifling the CC potential of that Pantheon.
And the wrong carrier was targeted by Zeka as well, a little bit unfortunate off the back end of the fight.
So that's what LeBlanc support does, is create a distraction.
Honestly, he mitigated an entire Sylas in that team fight.
Yeah.
So that's value.
And we also, I think Doran ended up picking up a kill as well. So that is going to help him with the gold lead that Zeus was otherwise able to build. So that is something. But there's still about a 1k gold lead here for Humble Life. And the team fights for Humble Life, I think, are... honestly, both of these are kind of messy, like I'm looking, and it really does come down to which of these two teams hits their key piece of CC first and blows someone up.
And is Smash's cone in the right spot?
Yeah, we have so we have Smash's cone, and then we have Viper's arrows, right? Like those are the kind of the big ticket deal. And then it's going to be more poke-oriented from Hanwha Live. And for T1, obviously Faker can poke, but I think compared to the Lethality Varus and Nidalee, they're going to have a hard time matching.
Yeah, Doran charges up the passive, but yeah, just a simple dash does avoid the Flawless Duet. Gets him out of there. Keria now moving towards this top side, and this is the closest one that we've had so far.
Yeah.
I don't have a feeling yet as to who's going to be winning this game. I do have a feeling that Doran might be in danger, but I think Doran may have that feeling also.
He does, yeah. I think he pinged as well.
It's Delight and Zeka setting up for it. All right, just getting a little impatient. They will shove this wave in and then move back into the fog of war. Keria moving into this tri-brush. Zeka once again in his spot. Whose control ward will survive? Looks like probably none of them. As Keria comes on over, takes that one away. Ranged auto attacks, pretty powerful here.
Kind of cute that Delight is sitting on the Faker, or using the Faker ward.
Yep.
Deep warded, but it is T1 that's able to take control. Big thing there is that Keria obviously has ranged autos, whereas Delight does not. So Delight has to commit a lot more to actually clear this out.
Doesn't get to press Eclipse this time either.
Yeah, Oner also in the area.
It does have shield wall, I guess, which is pretty powerful. Zeus
that's good.
Just wanting someone to turn up, but not really going to find the target.
Even get extra resistances, you know,
True.
that's nice. If you use the Mortal Will. What's it, Mortal? It's Mortal Will, right? A powered version?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it is. And we actually have a exciting setup for the fights.
Yeah.
You know, no team has found the blowout just yet.
Owie!
Look at that.
Nailed it. The first rebuttal that looks really powerful here.
It's going back to the Silas chain, right?
It was not a great debut, however, it's fine.
It was a really good example of how having good
of how it could go
really
wrong.
Can really wreck you.
Yeah.
When your mind knows that you definitely shouldn't do that, but the body's like, oh, incoming.
It is a thing that's coming towards me. I must mitigate it.
Yeah. Mistake there. Happens for everyone.
Yep.
As we have the dragon being set up 10 seconds.
Wow, dragons exist.
They do. Well, they existed in the last game as well.
And there's also one that's already been taken, so that's a good point. It's going to be our first Ocean of the series as well, as Zek is going to be dashing back. And okay, Smash making it rain, and the chains are going to connect there as well. Delight taking a fair bit of damage, does show them the shield wall.
Okay. Getting the early value from this LeBlanc.
Absolutely.
Again, still worried about late game, but maybe the plan is to not have it reach late game.
That is something that T1 have certainly looked at in the past. Half health on this dragon. Smash in position right now as well. Keria probably not going to be diving back towards that one. That is a dangerous spear from Peanut.
Nicely done. We also have Zeka, as you point out, on the way. Peanut trying to go.
Yeah, not going to be able to get the steal, but can they find a team fight? That is the question. That's a great prison to start this one off, but that's already a dead Bristle and Sejuani. Hextech is going to be the dragon, as now Delight's in so much trouble, but Zeus going to turn up and convince them to leave. Faker not quite finding all the buttons. Is that fadeaway gorgeous from Peanut? Now going to be moving up towards this Rift Herald. And HLE with the health bar advantages. Oh, Doran going to be stopping that back. Okay, things getting a little bit spicy. HLE with a slight gold advantage, but an evening out of the Drakes means that no one really has a big advantage there. And the next one going to be Hextech. And that is so scary for either side. Keria actually diving into this pit does push Peanut away, but Peanut will be able to now take this one down.
Oh, clean auto smite there to come through.
Yeah, there's the flash just to guarantee it, and Keria will just be autoed to death. Zeus saying, not today, my friend. I am not messing around, as he just walks around this turret and doesn't get hit by it, as Faker does clear out the wave. Zeus is now going to be backing away. He's not. Is certainly no joke. As Oner comes back, all he wants is to be able to clear out his Krugs. And you can see HLE wanting to stop him from doing exactly that.
Still trying to figure out the LeBlanc support. We're going to keep a running tally.
He died a long time ago.
No, I know, but I was contemplating.
I know. I can understand why you were as well, because it hasn't necessarily found the same value that it did last time. Last time was in the Keria Cook meta, where he would just pick anything that could just be hyper-aggressive in lane.
Well, in hindsight, it's also crazy that we didn't just lane swap back then. And the key thing here is that Viper actually both finds a good counter ultimate, the TP is a little late, and the rest of T1 wasn't ready to follow up. I think they can actually have a chance to do some real damage to Viper there as Zeus Keria just straight up disrespecting with LeBlanc and similar characters. And you see this with things like Shaco as well. You can feel so incredibly impervious because of the mobility that you have and the ability to outplay. But sometimes you do just get caught off guard. Nicely done there. He's 3-1 now on this Gnar. And again, that's not going to get better. He's going to become a bigger and bigger threat in side lane. We've seen Humble Life win games, even this split, off of just him being a big threat in teamfights as well as Mini Gnar.
Yeah. He is a monster on this champion, as we all well know. But the thing that's really worrying me as...
I think Viper,
Viper misses
on purpose.
He missed a bunch of things, actually.
Yeah, that
as we can see,
Zeus
is in so much trouble. The Wrath of Winter bears down upon him. And that is Doran getting one back. They're going to need a few of those. But man, that was clean.
Very nicely done there, showing that synergy between the Irelia and the Sejuani. And
Delight in a bit of trouble here as well. Flawless duet's pretty nice. And Delight trying to keep himself in this one. Flashes away, actually. That was very cute. But Zeka not quite there in time, and Keria in position. Still, Vanguard's edge going to be stolen away here.
That's a costly flash. Pantheon is one of the characters that can really struggle when he doesn't actually get to find access to his targets. And without flash, that's going to be a lot harder as we take another look. Doran even a level up here, and then just a really nice ultimate from Oner. We know he doesn't have flash because it was used toward the top side of the map. And then here for Delight, I think thinking that the area was vacated. And then this flash, I think still feels pretty questionable, but felt probably like maybe if he flashes, then Zeka can extend the play.
I think it was more just that Zeka was coming.
And he doesn't even, like, obviously the knowledge that Keria already was rotating down towards, back towards the play, he wasn't aware of, but yeah, it didn't even matter. He just died to Doran. That is a flash invested, but I think you're still going to be not too sad about that, because you need to keep this Irelia as a relevant friend in side lane. And Atlas, this game, it's actually even.
It's still neck and neck, as Peanut going to be taking a little bit of a ride here as the chains slightly mistimed. Charge is going to be successful. No harm, no foul.
Still trying. No, I'm joking. As we do have the next Dragon and its Hextech, and both of these two teams, I mean, basically any team would always love a Hextech Drake. The Dragon is just insanely strong, particularly the Soul. But especially when you have Mel, Nidalee, and Varus, any form of poke is the greatest.
As that is a point-blank ulti. Flash out immediately from Peanut as, okay, I thought it was Smash that was about to do the damage, but unfortunately the bullet time was for Viper, who just executes him. Zay is going to solo Otacon as he started this one up already. Peanut making his way up, just trying to primally surge his way towards Otacon. As this ward is such high value. Control ward's there, so HLE not going to be surprised by Oner's entrance. I don't think they can do this.
Keria's moving in as well. He seems to agree. Mega Gnar is about to time out.
Yep, the wallop is going to be mitigated here by Zeus, and Faker gets out of the Gnar stun. Otacon going to have to be given up here, I think, as Zeka moving in. Exactly right. Keria going to be pushed away, but now Doran started the battle. The dash is forward here as the Glacial Prison going to get picked up. Doran still trying to dash around the fight, but that is going to be the shutdown. Delight gets rid of his former teammate, and Keria executes Zeka on the back end. Otacon's still mad. Okay, finally does reset. And now Oner at relatively full health. It's a big old shield here from Delight, but it's not going to save him. What an absolute mess here on both sides, but mainly for HLE. Not really with too much of a plan, and Viper once again throws a skill shot to Narnia.
That's it! I saw the value for LeBlanc support right there! It's the tilt!
Nailed it! Absolutely gorgeous.
Because Keria, at the start of all that, takes a Hex Gate, and then just is an insane nuisance. Zeus? No, it's fine. I've seen him win these.
Yeah, and he's got Mega Gnar. It's coming up right now as he wallops just to get the transformation. And so it is Keria allowed to live by his former top laner, but looking a little worse.
Okay, so we go all the way back. And this is what you are highlighting as well. Viper actually finding the ultimate there, waits till all stacks are there, and then just pops him like a balloon. Smash Definitely overestimating there. And then crucially here, so we have both Delight and Keria in a 1v1. Zeus goes a little bit too deep, and I think that's the right call because he has to, right? Like, Humble Life clearly overestimated their damage. Peanut's already half health. And then Doran extends the play onto Zeka here. This 2v2 of Sejuani and Aurelia actually does a good job there. He does the damage, and then look at this. They know Keria's there.
Yep.
Still gets the kill, and Silas is one of those champions where he can look low, but as long as he can get multiple Ws and chains off, he can really sustain for a long time in fights. And then instead, they get the kill, able to pick off Delight as well. And there was even a scenario there where if the Otacon doesn't reset, I think maybe Humble Life get it, because it was very low, what, like 2.5k?
Yep, it was getting closer and closer to that smite range.
Still favored for Hanwha though, because they got Drake.
Yeah.
After all that.
I think they just
based and took Dragon.
That was it.
Oh, yeah. Was that so? That was Zeus then, because Zeus TPing back to mid, then forcing Faker and Keria both to back was probably what ended up getting that Dragon for them.
Yep.
This game, man, we're learning so much.
Certainly are. We're learning that these two teams are pretty evenly matched in this particular game. Which certainly bodes well for T1. It does feel like both of these teams have looked more comfortable on the blue side. And if T1 are able to get a break of serve, you know, to do the tennis reference, it certainly would be very valuable. We'll just have to see. As Viper does have his Edge of Night, gets popped by the Q.
Fortunately, does dodge.
Oh! Yeah, that is going to be a trade of Flash for Cleanse.
Yeah, that's... They must have thought that he had no cleanse. Otherwise, there's no way you'd make that trade.
The Vanguard's Edge does go wide. Zeka maybe just wanted to press the button.
Yeah, that's... not having Flash, actually a big deal. Particularly when you have someone like Oner and Doran on the enemy team. When Keria most likely is going to be looking for a threat in side lane as well.
Ow.
That's a big mistake there from... I don't know if it was Humble Life or Viper specifically.
Yeah, might have been whoever was taking the, like, writing down something like that.
Maybe thought that it happened in the earlier play.
Yep.
But definitely a big deal to not have that flash on the Varus.
Overwhelm starting to stack up here onto Zeus. As you can see, Faker's starting to do some damage here with 2 items now completed. And
I gotta say, with the amount of attention that was paid by Oner, plus Doran is continued side laning. Like, credit where credit is due. Currently sitting on a sizable gold lead, sizable CS lead as well. As maybe that was a bit of a
Don't know about this 1v1 as the Vanguard's Edge comes in. Zeka with the Kingslayer, and Doran is melting, burning down on a point-blank spear to the noggin. And that is a caster curse if ever I've heard one. Doran fans, make sure you come after Chronicler on Twitter. Certainly the one you want to be looking for.
Caster curses aren't real, but that was unfortunate timing on my end. As Doran immediately dies and gets picked off inside. I don't know what the implications are going to be besides just, I think it was Peanut picking up the kill. So more gold going over to the poke is always going to feel good as he actually gets the spear there mid-dodge, or Doran dashes into it depending on what you... what your read is, but that's a big deal because that, I think, is the damage that ends up being the difference maker. Confidence is there for Humble Life to keep going. And Doran is still dead. Maybe they just want to get the TP cooldown out and then leave it at that. Delight is also not Alistair, which was the last time we saw this exact scenario.
Well, Zeus is now going to avoid that glacial prison somehow.
That was a bit dicey. There's the TP. They might just back off of this and then just play for mid-turret.
Yep.
Or do both.
Well, doing both generally is a little bit of a worry here, but Zeka does have the teleport available. He can sort of be anywhere. And Smash is in the mid lane. They can see him taking this turret.
Oh, Oner still has flash. That's smite available as well. Are we flipping the game?
Oh, God, okay. Oner going to be moving on in. Are they just going to focus him down, though? That's the question. He flashes away as now Keria. Oh, it's not happening again! Zeka puts him down, and that is Otacon secured. The transformation at the perfect time for Zeus as well keeps him alive, as he's not going to be overwhelmed by Faker this time. HLE, they move Zeka back to the mid lane, and what a huge advantage. That was such a turn in this game.
Humble Life maintain their steady composure. Crucially, do not get distracted, do not get caught off guard as Keria trying to look for the exact same play. Look at that. The ward.
You can see the malice in Zeka, can't you?
Yeah, you know, he's like
not
you
again.
got me right here last time.
Yeah.
Not again. takes him down. And with that Otacon buff, I imagine that Humble Life is going to look for a very aggressive play towards the Baron. They have a minute and a half left, a little bit more even on this, so they can even take Soul Point for Hextech Drake. And I think that might be the break point. T1, if they can find a miraculous fight, maybe they can...
What? Peanut has the most experience in the game.
Yeah, he's in Italy. He's been farming. Like, look at his CS as well.
Right, okay.
Been farming really hard. And Oner also has been taking care of sides, I think, a lot more than Peanut has. And this is also one of the reasons why when we started seeing Italy again after a long time, because he was meta obviously 2020 and then was out of meta for a long while, it was into Sejuani specifically because the matchup just isn't very fun. As Delight is just going to drop from the sky to say hello to Zeka. He was feeling lonely.
It is still just going to be a Hextech Dragon taken, so there is that Soul Point that we were talking about.
But I thought they were going to make a play for Nash as well. If they don't get Nash, I think T1 have a much more realistic shot. If you lose Nash as well, your base starts getting broken open. I think that's where we kind of... It's still not looking good, don't get me wrong. But I like that this game is back.
No, I thought that
I'd like for it to stick around.
Yeah, me too. And I thought that this was going to be a lot worse. Oh, that boomerang went so fast!
And he caught it as well.
I want to see him do it with a house. Zeus needs to throw a house at him. Let's wait for the cooldown.
I mean, the housing market's not in a great spot right now. We can use more houses.
That's true, actually. Wait, does it build an extra house and then throw that one back? Does the first house still exist? Are we actually creating more houses?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Because either you can take the existing house and just bounce it back, which I guess is implied with the phrasing of rebuttal. So...
Yeah,
maybe it is.
I guess it's still just the same house.
Man, that's unfortunate. We were really onto something there, Atlas.
But I guess for moving houses, it's still very useful.
Mel's moving company.
Yeah, you know, you could, like Venice would be pretty invested in it. You could move all of Venice somewhere where it's not going to be underwater soon. So that helps the house. Anyway, let's get back to the game.
I get it. I was just waiting for you to follow up. Letting you sit in that one.
Oh, that's all I really had.
Yeah, we have an entire province in the Netherlands that's just reclaimed.
Oh yeah, you're a little bit under seawater, aren't you?
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. Under sea level, sorry.
Yes.
Under seawater would mean that you're just underwater. You're not Atlantis. You're it's
not as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
As
wow, it was just the Netherlands all along. Oh wow, we never knew.
Yeah. Our architecture and our food is also very, very exotic.
I've seen Atlantis the movie. There are a lot of windmills.
Zonya's now done for both Peanut and Zeka. We do see the attempt at choking out Vision here for Humble Life, but there is actually, thank you, Observe, for showing that. Nicely done. Still one ward that escaped all scrutiny and is currently still standing there. Yeah, that's a little...
That's a nice ward.
Little angle there.
That's why you have to have the ward on the outside as well. As Smash took a spear, I think, to the face.
Not fun. Horizon Focus doing a good amount of damage there. And Peanut...
He has the same items as Zeka.
Yeah, we have given this man a lot of flack for his Nidalee. Not because, if you go back to his heyday, he wasn't a great Nidalee, but just because that's not what the team needed him to be as the Pope.
Oh, God! Okay, there's his Nidalee getting the work done. Another Chains of Corruption from off screen. And Smash is doing the best that he can. There's even a Hail Mary Glacial Prison thrown by Zeka. That doesn't hit him because he was a corpse already. And now it's going to be Baron time for HLE. We had such a lull for so long. It's like they waited for Otacon to be over and then decided to take the Baron. Thankfully, T1 with full vision given this ward. But they don't know the health bar of this Baron right now, as you can see by Jonah Strong and our Observer team. Oner gets that control ward in there. He knows.
Doesn't have flash.
3,000 health. Yeah, can he actually Q his way in? That's the question. He tried to get there. He steals it. Oh my God, but here is Zeus trying to end the fight before it even starts. Doran just trying to keep a Baron buff alive, but he's not going to get out. And HLE, it's only Keria that's left up with this Baron. Wait, does he not have the Baron? How does he not have the Baron? He does have the Baron.
Yeah, no, I don't.
No, he doesn't have the Baron.
Yeah, I think he was still, I assume still dead when it was stolen.
I guess so.
Must be. Smash as well.
They must have only just spawned though. That flash, really good time from, well-timed there from Keria. But it's 2 seconds before they spawned. And so the Rebel Baron power play just doesn't exist.
Yeah,
and in a minute, it's Hex-Texol.
Earlier we were having a discussion about what it means for a house to be real or not. Is it really a Baron if there's no Baron buff? As here, wonderfully done there. Smash and Keria both up ending getting caught, which means that so much of the teamfight damage for this composition is just immediately gone. The fact that Oner doesn't even have splash there. The fact he makes it as the light is trying to keep him out, right? Just, they knew he was there as well. Stellarly done. And the only reason why this game isn't over yet, it's just that steal. Because that steal doesn't come through. Still, things are looking horrible. They got completely wiped in the fight. There's no Baron buff gone, or no Baron buff left.
Whoa,
Faker.
Nice footwork there from Faker. As I say nice, he gets completely destroyed. And Zeker is going to find the last chain. Goes golden there as well. The rest of Humble Life Esports trying to turn up Delight. He does it the best. Zeker dashes over all of those swords, and he almost actually survives. What the heck? Zeker, he was on like 1 health. Doran now just getting sniped here by Viper. The flawless duet is decent as that house is just sitting on the floor. And Zeus doesn't really care, still able to get that last auto to put down his lane opponent. And my god, the demolition of this base turret is just ridiculous. Inhibitor going down there as well, as now Oner just a sitting duck. The stolen glacial prison not going to connect, but Oner still has to get to this fountain, does get a little bit of healing so that piercing arrow does not kill him. But Zeker is just having the greatest time on his Silas. Kill and smash here, and Oner just has to look on as they move to match point in this best